Heyo, and let's go! Welcome back to another video here on the channel. I am Sergeant Tall. Today we're going to be talking about the devlog that came out a few days ago on the Seeds of Change. Looks like it's going to be coming out on April 12th, so in a couple days. This video is going to be recorded and put out today because why not? I'm never one to hesitate putting my opinion out there, and I've no other content creators have gotten out there and talked about it and given their opinions. It was nice to see Takazuka go ahead and probably said his name wrong, because why not? But it was nice to see a video from him and see his insight. Much of what I think is kind of in line with that. He is definitely thinking from a bigger content creator's thought process. You know, I play the game for fun, and I am terrible at it. But there are some pieces I definitely agree with him. Some pieces I probably differ a little bit. But before all that, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. If you are enjoying the content on the channel, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, the like, and most importantly, notification bell so you never miss out on an episode here on the channel. If you have allowed YouTube to see your name, you will see it scrolling up on the right side of the screen. Normally, we only do it on the gameplay videos, but why not put it on here? Because why not? There's also a link to the Discord below, where I'm constantly on there interacting with whoever will listen to me or wants to talk. So, let's get at it. I guess I did have a live stream about this and talked about a lot of these things. I'm going to briefly cover some of them and some of the concerns I might have for it, and some of the things I'm looking forward to help my own series. So, you know, they talk about the hacienda being kind of the center point of everything, where your whole island really kind of centers around that, or you want your island to really center around that. You know, be able to build certain modules and have certain island-wide edicts. You know, the one concern I kind of have with it is that it's not like the palace where everything has to be touching. There are a lot of different pieces for the palace, but I find it a little tedious to build. And maybe that's because I'm not a pretty builder. If I was a pretty builder, I could imagine you could really be creative and come up with something that looks really good. The palace for me is really just kind of a functional thing, and really just does it fulfills a function for me, right? Whether it's, you know, production or getting extra items out of something. But the one thing I think that might not that where the having to have them everything connected might not be where it is just the radius. So the hacienda has a radius, and it grows based on your population size of that island. I do wonder how big that can get. You know, is it going to be, are you going to be able to have so much population that you can cover the whole island? I don't know. Maybe they've said, maybe they haven't. I haven't read anything directly towards that. I'm also not an anno connoisseur, so I probably going to miss some of the smaller details. But I do wonder how big that radius can get. You know, if it covers a whole island, if you could put that much population on there, I mean, I guess then that makes it really incredibly powerful, right? Because it does some of the modules do some really incredible things. So these modules have to be built inside this radius. You know, and it's probably, as you get bigger, isn't going to be as big of an issue, but initially it will be, right? So one of the things you can build is a space efficient residence where you can get unilateral quarters and arboreal quarters. So for a module that's 1 by 1 bigger than its default counterpart, I remember seeing pictures. I think it was like you could fit 40 burrows in there. I mean, that is, you know, double, might even be bigger than that, but it's going to be at least double what the other one could handle. I found in our series where on the main island, my housing area was so big, and I was kind of just dropping houses wherever because I was just needing people. You could not get enough unilaterals. And the tractors helped me towards the end because it reduced how many unilaterals I needed. But I found housing kind of got out of hand for the limited space that's on the New World islands to build. You can also build some high productive farms. So the farmhouse has to be built inside of the radius. You can have the modules outside of it, but the farmhouse actually has to be built inside of it. And it's always going to have 64 farm modules. Once you build that farm, you can pick what crop from a recipe book. It does save quite a bit of space. I would imagine, but it can also be boosted by tractor barns from Bright Harvest, which we currently already have, and fertilizer, which is going to be coming with the Seeds of Change. We'll talk about that in a little bit once you get further down in the blog post, but you can also build a brewery. Brewery will give you the ability to brew your own beer in the New World without having to send it. Early game, that's probably incredibly important. Because clippers are pretty slow to go between Old World and New World. Not super slow, but it's slow enough, right? You'll also be able to do the new hot sauce from there, which is a need for your population tiers. And you'll be able to pick those from a recipe book, just like you will on the farms. So the next one is a little bit interesting for me, and maybe I probably should have did a little more reading on it, but maybe they haven't specified. But the storeroom. So the storeroom increases your storage on that island. So the one thought process I have on that is currently for me when I need to, well, not even just for me, for everybody, right? You put depots in the water. So they're pretty cheap to build. So I mean, it's not like they're super expensive. It's just the planks and bricks, but they only do 50 per. So you have to put quite a bit to get an island to have a reasonably big storage. So I mean, I can see why it probably would have been more beneficial for me to have like one island that just has a ton of them. But I do wonder how much this is going to increase the storage. You know, if it's 100, 250, whatever, kind of, with Docklands, you put it down and you get a big increase in storage. I wonder if it's going to be like that. Probably be nice to have one on there no matter what, but depending on how powerful or how much extra storage it gives you is really kind of makes me wonder how many you're going to have on there. Or maybe it's going to make it even more important to have an island that's kind of just like your storage island. It's like your feeder island, right? So you can also do the fertilizer works. So this is where some of the cooler things can happen, right? So you're going to have animal farms. Yeah, I'll just scroll down a little bit so we can actually see the picture, but you're going to have animal farms that will produce dung, which will need to get to a warehouse. When you put up the fertilizer works, so you can put on the fertilizer works plus your tractor farm on a farm. That fertilizer works does need to have access to a warehouse to be able to get the dung, and then it creates fertilizer. So what it ends up doing is it takes the farms and it'll go from 64 modules to 96 modules. So increase, roughly around 50%. But the production is going to be boosted up to 400% with the tractor farm, which brings it up to 300%. So it gives it a whole another 100% on top of that for just a little bit of a module increase. So I could see me building a bunch of squares with these. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm probably not the prettiest farming area builder. But 400% is huge, right? So you can supply quite a bit from that. And I'd have to imagine, like with corn and stuff, you'll still, you can have one farm boosted with tractor barn and a fertilizer and could probably take care of your tortillas, your silos, be able to deal with all those things pretty easily. As usual, they'll have a nice tutorial menu within the game. Probably one of the better in-game tutorials that I've seen in any of the games I play, and I play some pretty in-depth games that don't have that much information, and you have to rely on a lot of other reading. You'll also be able to do island-wide edicts, so I only see 2 listed here. I think there's 2 more besides that, one of which I think most people are going to end up using, but one of them is a dietary education initiative, which reduces the residents' food consumption. I think it's 10% of schnapps, tortillas, and something else. Hot sauce, maybe? I didn't find it. When I looked at it, I was like, So I don't know. I'm sure it can be tweaked and, all this, it doesn't come out till the 12th, right? So we don't know if these are the final numbers, but you also can have local assemblies where the hacienda, the Obrera quarters inside of those produce influence. I don't know. I guess it depends on how much influence you can get from it, right? So I didn't find... We got kind of wasteful with our influence towards the end of the last season. Mainly because I just didn't have anything to use it on. I could have gotten more by moving more of my engineers to investors as we had a little bit more of its consumer goods. So I could have gotten a little more out of it had I needed it. So we'll have to see what that one is. The one that did kind of pique my interest was the one having to do with the harbor activity. I think it was 50% increase. That's pretty big, especially in the new world. So in the old world, you have the the old world and Cape Trelawney, right? You have docklands, right? So you can get your wharfs to be able to push out, 500 at 500% speed, but you have a ton of ships coming in and out, right? Whereas in the new world, you don't have necessarily the ship traffic that you do in those two places. So you probably don't need that 500%. It's probably a little excessive. I can't think of a single time where I went to the new world and was like, oh yeah, I have ships waiting. Like, they may be waiting for a little bit, but it's not super excessive because I don't have a lot of ships coming in and out. I do have some ornaments coming, which for the pretty builders would just be like, I do like the way this pond looks. I guess it's really more of a fountain, isn't it? I do like how that looks. That looks pretty cool. But it looks like, looks like they got some stuff coming. I do appreciate the content, the price. I think it was 25 US. So I mean, that's not, for the amount of hours I have in Anno, that's not bad at all. I do hope that there's, they do have some big plans for things coming down the road. Obviously, this is only the first one, so hopefully the things they have coming with it will mesh well with these, and I look forward to playing it. I am going to start recording the day it comes out. It'll probably be back on that Saturday schedule. I am going to use the current save we are working on, because I don't want to have to build back up to it again. I want to be able to get right into it. And often enough, I am a little bit behind the DLCs because I'm starting with a whole new series on it. We won't be doing that on this particular one because it's really just affecting one instance. If I find that it's affecting it too much, we can always clear out the New World islands and just build from there. But we do have plenty of open islands ready to go that aren't doing anything. So I don't think I'm going to have any problem building from there. We'll have all the building materials we need there, so we can get right into it and spend most of our time in there. Will we start a new series from the very beginning with this included? Probably. I guess it would depend on how much, how fast we get through the particular content from Seeds of Change. So we'll see where it is. We still got to come up with some rules. If you have any conditions that I should probably play my next series in, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'm always up for feedback, whether positive or negative. Some of the constraints I'm thinking of working on is having still not being able to import any final goods, but also having an island kind of being like, Grand Central Station for all my product, right? So it just goes there. Currently, I just have everything dropped off in Crown Falls. Just have it dumped there. Same thing in the old world. They'd probably take more planning because there'd be a lot of ship traffic if you just had one island just taking everything in. Especially if an island didn't need to send it there in the first place. But I'm always looking for new ways to challenge myself in the game. To maybe get past any of my inadequacies in playing the game. Especially you got to make up for not being a pretty builder, right? But let's go ahead and call the video there. Thanks for taking a few minutes of your day to check out the video and spending a few minutes of your day with me. I greatly do appreciate each and every one of you who decide to click on the video and even watch to the end. If you've watched to the end, put towel in the chat. But until next time, friends, take care of yourselves. Towel up.